Hey everyone, Super Coco Bro here. Slay the Spire 2 just released another beta patch, and I want to go over the details with you so that you all knew what was going on. So first and foremost, what they are really trying to do with these new patches that are going to be coming out here in the future are working on balancing out the Ascensions and making the earlier Ascensions less difficult. That's really what they're kind of be focusing on. That's kind of what they talked about right here in this section. Now, they did talk about the Doormaker in this, and that what they're looking for is to see if the mechanics of the Doormaker, which is the one turn it exhausts any skill and attack that you play, the next turn you can't draw anything, and then the next turn every single card costs an additional energy. So they're kind of seeing whether or not that is abrasive too much, and if that actually works to fulfill a good boss but doesn't make it too difficult. And they made some new artwork. There's new card reworks, and what I was going to go over is I don't really care about the badges, whatever badges, but the two cards that they really worked on for the Ironclad, I'm actually really happy that they did this. And the reason is because I never chose them. I never chose them because I was like, this never really felt like this was anything that I was ever going to use. And that was the Conflagration card. And what it used to do was deal damage to all enemies and deal additional damage for every single attack you played this turn. That to me was it just didn't really make any sense. You'd have to play a whole bunch of attack cards in that, and it just didn't seem like I really ever had a chance to have enough energy to be able to play tons of attack cards to make that work. Now, what they did, they changed it to, it costs 1 still. It's still a rare card, but it's more of a strength card. It's more of like a strength synergy card. It deals 2 damage to all enemies 4 times, and when you upgrade it, it goes to 5. So if you get a Vajra, if you get a strength potion, if you get any kind of a setup strike with it, it's going to do so much more damage than really this card previously did, because it just didn't seem like that worked very well. And they also reworked the Drum of Battle card. I never actually picked this card because I never wanted the top card of my draw pile to be exhausted. Like, how do I know if it's going to be something great that it exhausts and then my deck is just screwed for this fight? So what they did, they actually changed it to, it costs 1 now. It's still uncommon. You draw 2 cards, which, great, it's still the same thing. But if you want to, you can exhaust it and then gain 2 or 3 energy when you upgrade the card. And the reason they did that, it was the lowest picked uncommon Ironclad card. Generally unpopular. Literally, it says generally unpopular. So I'm really glad that they made those changes there. And they reworked the parry card for the Regent here. It was, old parry was when you play a Sovereign Blade, you get 10 to 4 block, a 10 to 14 block on the upgrade. Now what it is, it's the same amount of block. It's just that it's displayed on the card now, and it can be affected by dexterity boosts and frail. So if you get frail and you're going to play your Sovereign Blade with a parry power already played, it's going to do less. But if you have, say, something like the smooth stone, oddly smooth stone, or if you have some form of dexterity boost to your build, it's going to do more block for you, which I really like that. I think that's much better. Giving it a little bit more variability. So that's really basically what they did as far as changing and reworking cards. That's it. Now, they did change the axe bot fight, where the axe bots were when you fought 2 axe bots, and every single time you killed one up to 3 times, it would summon in a new axe bot. That's completely changed now. It's just basically a more challenging axe bot. Haven't fought it just yet, but I'm sure that it'd probably summon in a more challenging axe bot. And let's see, what else did they go over here? They changed the Nightmare card. If you play it and select a card with Affliction on it, that Affliction is now removed from the copies and added to your hand the following turn. And they buffed the Untouchable card. Its upgraded block is gained from +2 to +3 when you upgrade it, which, you know, I think it's good. The Sly card for the Untouchable, I think having do a little bit more block being upgraded is actually going to be more of a viable card to be upgraded. They changed the Tyranny card. It now triggers before bombardment. So that means if you're going to actually, Tyranny, the way it worked is you draw another card and then you have to exhaust. So you can exhaust the bombardment. It says Tyranny exhaust bombardment. Bombardment will be played immediately after. So they changed it just a little bit. They nerfed the Reflect card. It decreases the block gained So it's now 16 as opposed to 17 and 20 as opposed to 21 when an upgrade. Now the upgrades that they did to Niao, I am really actually am thoroughly excited to go try it, because I really didn't like a bunch of Niao's buffs. But this one now, the Booming Conch, the one that was you gain 2 card draw against an elite, it's now, in addition to that, it's actually you gain energy at the start of the combat. That to me is so much more of a buff, and I will be choosing that so much more often because of that. And the Niao's Fury buff, like, this is huge. I chose it my first run that I ever played in Spire 2, and I have not chosen it again because I think it is just worthless. Getting 2 random cards, it was like 10 attack, and you randomly select 2 cards from your discard pile and bring them into your hand. Now, it's a choice. You can choose to do 2 cards or 1 card, and you get to select what cards they are in the discard. That's fantastic. That's like a mini-ish dredge that the Necrobinder has, so that's much better. I also really like the buff that they did to the Tezcatara's Nutritious Soup, is the strikes costed 0. I used it a couple times because I did have some builds where I was drawing a whole bunch, and having free cards to play was just a good thing. I love that they changed it to where now all of your strikes are doing an additional 3 damage. So that, to me, it just makes it more of a choice that's going to be picked. And they did nerf some enemies, change some enemies. As far as what they did, it's really mostly on the low ascensions. They changed the health. They didn't change it on high ascensions. Like the rate, this is really the one that they actually changed that is for all ascensions here. It's decreased damage from the Ruby Raider Assassin. It's no longer doing 11, it's doing 10, and then at Ascension 8 or above, it's doing 11. They changed the Scroll of Biting to have less health at low ascensions. They changed the Owl to have less health at low ascensions. The Slime Berserker, who throws 10 slimes in your deck, has less health at lower ascensions, and then higher health, right? So what they're trying to balance is easier at the beginning, harder at the end. So, which kind of what you want, right? You want more people to be able to get into the game and less people to be able to beat the game when it gets really hard. They nerfed Phantom at lower ascensions and didn't really change anything from the higher ascensions, though. The nerf the Waterfall Giant heals less at lower ascensions, and it doesn't really change at higher ascensions. So and there's one other change that they did, is that the Slippery Bridge, when you could choose to remove a card or take some health and the card changes, that no longer picks the same card that you've seen in the selection multiple times, unless you've already gone through your entire deck. Which, if you've gone through your entire deck, you're just kind of an idiot if you're just cycling through your entire deck and trying to kill yourself, I guess. So that's really all of the changes that they really did to this game for this beta patch here. They did some art stuff, but I'm not really interested in the art because the art's going to continue to change as they go. So we'll see what the final product is on that. But let me know what you think about this beta patch here in the comments down below. I'll catch you all in the next video.